Hey, what is up, everyone? This is Juicy Hockey with Gordon Maxwell, aka Gordo. I am your host, Gordon Maxwell. Today, we're going to be recapping last night's games and talking about the latest rumors going around the NHL and previewing tonight's games and the juiciest topics in the NHL. Let's get to it. The first games we talked about last night. Okay, so it was a survival for the Carolina Hurricanes. We all thought, hey, it was going to be going back to MSG for game 7, but Chris Kreider had other ideas. First New York Ranger to score a hat trick in a crucial playoff situation since Wayne Gretzky in 1997, and 3 years prior, it was Mark Messier's guarantee of going back to the Garden. And it's no surprise. You know, the New York Rangers with Kreider with a natural hat trick, it stunned the crowd. The Hurricanes were up 3-1. And it was supposed to be a comeback of 3 straight games in a row. But like I said, the New York Rangers had a better idea and interpretation, and it was no surprise. And they are now halfway to the mountaintop, 8 more wins, Stanley Cup. It's no surprise. It is no surprise here at all. The New York Rangers are truly the best team in the NHL, and it's a damn shame the Carolina Hurricanes couldn't seal the deal. And give Jordan Martinook credit for preventing a goal. If that would have been, that was the save of the playoffs somewhat, but that the team couldn't sustain to keep the win going. It's a damn shame. And the New York Rangers, it's going to be their first conference final appearance in nearly a decade, 9 years in the making. 9 years in the making. And I got to tell you, and I've been reading some of these stats that there's been 16 teams out of the Western Conference have won the Stanley Cup, and 13 have won the Stanley Cup. The last 29 Stanley Cups, it's nearly a draw. It's nearly balanced. It's a nearly even-Steven situation. And I'll tell you, the New York Rangers are on a mission. They are truly, truly on a mission for the Stanley Cup. And I got to say, looking at the numbers and the stats from last night, I got to say, it was a good game to watch, but unfortunately, the Carolina Hurricanes couldn't finish the job. They seriously couldn't finish the job. You know, Kreider had 7 shots on goal. He was amazing. And Brad, Roslovic both had 2 apples in there. You know, Barca Goodrow is an empty netter. Does empty netters really matter? Trocheck, once again, haunting and taunting his old team with the goal and assist. And, you know, Lindgren and Miller, Keandre Miller got an assist. Shesterkin, he played well with a .917 save percentage. And Carolina, on the other hand, you know, it was somewhat of a promising game, but you know, Aho got a goal and assist. Gensel, he was a -1. Seth Jarvis got a goal. Andrei Soshnikov got 2 apples there. Martin Nessis, speaking of him, he is not going to be renewed for a new contract for the Carolina Hurricanes. And also Brett Pesce, those 2 are not coming back to the Carolina Hurricanes next season. And and you know, Carolina, you know, if I was Dundon, you know, and if I had the, you know, the commitment to pay my players and my people around, I'd keep them. But, you know, Carolina, you know, the window of opportunity is closing. And Rod Brind'Amour's contract, his contract needs to be signed now. Since now it's been elimination time and all, but Rod Brind'Amour is Carolina. He's been a Hurricane for nearly almost 25 years, and he deserves a new deal. If it weren't for him, Carolina would be a joke of the past. Inconsistent playoff streaks. They'd be going in the playoffs every 4 or 5 years. That's not right, you know. And Carolina, they could still be favorites to win the Stanley Cup next year if they can keep their core together. If they keep that core together, they will be just fine. But, and the other $1 million question is Brent Burns going to be retiring? You know, and this might be his last game in the NHL, but who knows? I wouldn't be surprised that Brett Burns gets a new 1 year, maybe 2 year contract extension. The Hurricanes need to get everything together. But let's get to the, last night's game, the other game between the Edmonton Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks. What a great, underrated, under the radar series. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, like for the first time in playoff history, with game 5 and game 4, both games ended in the very last seconds of each of these games. The Oilers and the Canucks, all the games have been ending by 1 goal. And I'll say this, that right there is a very underrated series. It is truly an underrated series right there. And give JT Miller a freaking medal. This guy is really that the Canucks paid for. That's the guy that they paid for. DiGapso, he got a good game, first game back since his wife gave birth. And Connor Soucy, what a shot by him. And give Salvars so much credit. He's carrying the load. He's carrying the team without their Vezina Trophy finalist. And Salvos, he's very underrated. They're 1 more win away to their first conference final appearance in 13 years. The Vancouver Canucks are not to be taken lightly because this team is built for the playoffs. The Canucks, they could be a very dangerous team to the Dallas Stars or Colorado Avalanche, whoever plays against. That series right there will be very sloppy. But speaking of sloppy, Connor McDavid was very quiet last night. Leon Draisaitl got 1 assist, and Evander Kane got 1. But I'll tell you, that right there, it was a dead series. But Calvin Pickard played very well. His save percentage, he's going to be starting next game. It won't be surprised. And I wouldn't be surprised that Edmonton wins game 6. It's no surprise. The Oilers could still take this to game 7. They know it's an opportunity, but I'll tell you, Pickard and Salvos, it was a draw. It was a great goaltending battle. Their save percentage was nearly identical. I wouldn't be surprised that this one will go to 7. And Edmonton's going to be playing against Vancouver in Edmonton on Saturday night. It won't be a surprise at all. Overall, I would love to see a game 7 between these two Canadian rivals, and plus more revenue stream for the Oilers and the Canucks. But I wouldn't be surprised that this will go to 7 games. Both goalies have been stellar so far. I see that this thing's going to go to 7. I wouldn't be surprised at all. We'll be back right after these messages. Coming up, we'll be talking about the games for tonight, potential elimination games, and the latest, juiciest rumors in the hockey world. We'll be right back after these messages. We're back. Okay, now, so we got a potential elimination game or survival game between the Florida Panthers against the Boston Bruins in Boston, game 6. So according to the numbers here, that the Florida Panthers are at a minus 145. Meanwhile, the Boston Bruins are at a plus 125. The over and under is 5.5. And I got to say, the Florida Panthers are that team. They have a better road record. And if you look at the Boston Bruins and their playoff run so far, they've done better on the road. Hello? Everyone does better on the road than at home. It's pressure. There's a lot of anxiety and pressure when it comes to playing against in your hometown and trying to close it out and taking care of business. But overall, I'm going to say this. The Florida Panthers, they got the depth. We heard that Ryan Lomberg is playing tonight, and a possibility of Nick Cousins playing the lineup as well, because there has been chit chat that Brad Marchand could be playing tonight, but he is a game time decision. And I wouldn't be surprised that both Lomberg and Cousins get back in the lineup, and it's going to be an ugly game because Marchand's looking for revenge. Bruin players are looking for revenge for their situation. But I got to say, this series, it's going to be over. I'm got my favorite. I know it's going to be sound like corny and biased, but the Florida Panthers will close it out tonight for the first time in their history to go 2 consecutive conference finals. And this will be their 3rd ever trip to the conference finals. Yeah, but Boston, they can play spoiler because this is not the first time they were down. Because, think about it. They were up 3-1 and they were about to lose their series against Toronto last round, but they got back and won a series barely. But overall, I wouldn't be surprised that the Florida Panthers close it out tonight. It's going to be over. It's like that song by the Electric Whorehouse Company. It's over. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised that the Florida Panthers close it out tonight. It's over for the Boston Bruins, and their season is over. And also, the game is going to be on TNT tonight at 7 p.m. And speaking of the devil, we have a doubleheader tonight. What a crazy predicament with the Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche. The Dallas Stars had an opportunity to close out the other night, and the Avalanche caused a major avalanche for their plans to score 3 goals in the 3rd period. And now we are here for game 6. And looking at the numbers, the Dallas Stars are even. Meanwhile, the Colorado Avalanche are at a -120, and the over and under is 6.5. Yeah, this right here, I got to say, we're going to see a game 7, another game 7. Colorado's not going out lightly. And, we all know this is a classic series because, the Stars and Avalanche, they played against each other deep in the playoffs and the conference finals, both years in 99 and in 2000, etc. But this series right here is going to be a nail biter. And, we got to see some players stepping up. And, Rope Hens is going to be definitely playing tonight in this one. And I'm going to say we are having a close game right here. Shots against, they're basically even by 1. And then we've got shots per game by 1. I believe this series is definitely going to go to 7. I am putting it down right here. Dallas in Colorado. I'm picking Colorado to win tonight. It's going to go game 7. And whoever plays in the Western Conference, in the conference finals, it's going to be, a much more anticipated war because both teams in the conference final in the West are going to be beat up. And whoever is the last man standing is going to be still standing. But overall, I'm going with Colorado. I loved how Colorado came back with 3 straight goals in the 3rd period. The Avalanche, to me, are the favorites for tonight. And look at their home record. They're 31-9-1. And Dallas, they got a good road record as well, 26-10-5. But, it's deceiving. I said it before. I'll say it again. We all know that the road team has got a better opportunity and chance of winning these games. It's no secret here, everybody. So going back to this tonight, I'm picking the Florida Panthers to close out against the Boston Bruins. And I've got the Colorado Avalanche beating the Dallas Stars to make it game 7. We'll be back after these messages. Coming up, we'll be talking about the latest, juiciest rumors in the NHL and a potential talks of a new coach in New Jersey coming up next week. And stay tuned for another surprise. We are back. Okay, so we all know the New York Rangers are in the conference finals for the first time in nearly a decade. And their potential matchup could be either Florida Panthers and the Boston Bruins. Okay, so, remember last year where all the idiot Maple Leaf fans, Lennies, whatever that you call them, and they start chanting, "We want Florida, we want Florida." Look at how that turned out. you got their asses kicked. And now you've got the Ranger fans wanting, we want Boston. We want Boston. You know, they want Boston because if you look at the numbers specifically, is that the Rangers have a 59% chance to win the series against the Boston Bruins, and their best odds are of winning it in 6 games at an 18% rate. Meanwhile, at 7 games at a 17% and a 15% in 5 games. But they do not want to play Florida because they know their chances are slim to none. The Florida Panthers, on the other hand, have a 58% chance of winning against the New York Rangers. And then the Rangers, they do have somewhat fairly good odds of winning the series against the Panthers in 7 games at a 15.5%. And meanwhile, the Florida Panthers have 15.4 for 7 games. Close battle. But then it takes an awkward twist, is that the Florida Panthers at a 19.2%. Meanwhile, at 12.2 for 6 games for the New York Rangers. So the Panthers are favored for that one. 14.6 in 5 games for the Panthers against the Rangers, 10%. So we're going to see here. We all know it's going to be a sea of blue, but whatever, like Ranger fans are fake, and they know they're refugees, but I gotta say, New York Rangers, be careful who you wish for, because look what happened to Toronto last year. They got their asses kicked by the Panthers with a Cinderella run that's never be forgotten in this world. Okay. So let's get down to the juiciest rumors in the NHL. Okay, so yesterday there were reports by Craig Morgan of Arizona Sports saying that Alex Merlo and the mayor of Phoenix had great talks and meetings in the last few weeks since the Arizona Coyotes have left for Salt Lake City. And, Alex Merlo owns the records, the logo, the history, and what so. But the interesting thing we heard from Craig Morgan in his Twitter, in his X account, we've been hearing some very interesting dialogue, we should say. Very interesting dialogue. And if you want to hear this, guys, this is very, very juicy right here. So Craig Morgan said this about yesterday afternoon. Here's what we got here. Here we go. So a statement from Ariel Deveau, spokesperson for Phoenix Mayor Kay Gallego. They said, quote, Mayor Gallego had a productive meeting with Alex Merlo and his family a few weeks ago, and they spoke about Mr. Merlo's plan to participate in a state land auction, and if successful development, the North Phoenix site, the mayor believes hockey could thrive in the desert, but also made it clear that she does not support using taxpayer funds, including property tax admit for sports arenas. And we all heard that they want to put an amusement park in this arena district, which will help fund the arena instead of taxpayer money. And Craig Morgan also came to say is that I don't want to interpret the mayor's word, and this is all the mayor's office is saying right now, but property tax avenue exemption was a key benefit of a theme park district designation, which the Arizona Coyotes hope for the use of this project. And what the law says, the property acquired, leased, and constructed by the district, the activities of the district in maintaining and caring for the property, and the monies derived by the district from operating the property are exempt from state and local income and property taxation. And Coyotes president and CEO Xavier Gutierrez said this in April, saying, we are going to explore utilizing the amusement park or theme park district legislation that was passed, but that's not going to impact whether or not we go and try to buy the land or whether or not we can build on it. And development right here. And I gotta say, so the Premier Spock saying tax abnett and essential what establishing a theme park district does, so per the statement she is opposed. So let me get this straight. The mayor of Phoenix says that yeah, hockey can thrive, but she doesn't want to tax the people, but they're hypocrites, they're morons. It's Arizona. Arizona's got a bunch of moronic politicians there who have no idea what's going on and knowing what to do. And this is a crucial key element because you need this to happen because A, the Suns need a brand new arena, obviously. B, you need something to generate extra revenue money and stuff. And C, the economy and tourism. And don't forget, you've got a lot of northern transplants who retire down in Arizona. There's a lot of hockey fans in Arizona. We get it, but these politicians have no idea what they're doing and what they're thinking. But overall, if I was the mayor, I would say, let's do it because we need to generate more and bring more people from out of town and build our economy. And it would be great to have more people coming to the city of Phoenix. Also, brand new arena for the Suns as well. Plus, it would be beneficial. And and don't forget, people say, hey, hockey is big in Arizona. Number one according to USA Hockey, number one in the record books, and so on and so forth. Yeah. Okay. Now we'll be right back after these messages coming up. We'll be talking about the rumors of the NHL. We'll be right back. We are back now. So this is official coming from Paul Maurice that Ryan Lomberg, Nick Cousins are back in the lineup tonight. It's official. They are replacing Steven Lawrence and Kyle Pozo out of the lineup. So get ready, Boston. You guys are going to get your asses kicked. But then we've got some new juicy rumors around the National Hockey League. Let's talk about these rumors for the next 5 minutes. Let's talk about right about meow. Okay, so we got some interesting rumors for buyers and sellers for this upcoming offseason. First topic is can the Montreal Canadiens, the Devils, and the Sabres potentially trading the first round pick? I'm an advocate of a guy. If I was a hockey executive, I love getting draft picks, accumulate them, build, see what they can do. It's always that old saying goes, shoulda, coulda, woulda, and in hindsight. I personally believe in building through the draft. Bill Torrey, the late great Bill Torrey, told me stories like how a failure franchise like the Oakland Seals in 1971, when Bill Torrey was working for the Seals at the time, they had the worst record in the NHL, and he and Charlie Finley, the owner, the crazy eccentric owner of the Athletics and the Seals at the time, they were debating, like Bill Torrey wanted to keep the draft pick, which was the number one overall pick. And Charlie Finley goes, oh, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to get some veterans. And right behind Bill Torrey's back, Charlie makes the most infamous trade, most one-sided deal in NHL history that traded with Montreal Canadiens to the Oakland Seals. And the Seals got a bunch of washed up veterans. And then they lost out on a generational talent. And you know who that was? Guy Lafleur. And that really hurt Bill Torrey. And he was he quit the job. And then he went to go over to the New York Islanders with Jimmy Devellano and stuff. And then what happened is, you got to love this. The Islanders became a dynasty within 8 years after they started up in 1972. They drafted Dennis Potvin, Mike Bossy, getting Billy Smith in the expansion draft, Brian Trottier, Bobby Nystrom, Clark Gillies. I mean, the New York Islanders were built the right way. and that's why the Oakland Seals failed, because they had some trouble building a foundation. It was not going to work out. If they would have kept Guy Lafleur, we would have been living in an alternative timeline, and the Oakland Seals would still be in the NHL, but they would be under a different name. They would be the Sharks. They would be renamed because Seals are not aggressive, but I don't know. But who am I going to tell? It's not Animal Planet. It's the NHL and the hockey industry. Okay, now we've got an interesting situation with Pierre-Luc Dubois. I don't know why Rob Blake did this. I would have had second thoughts and reservations for it. I personally would not sign Pierre-Luc Dubois. Hell, I even think, I would love to get Montreal's first round pick. Trade for that, because, Pierre-Luc Dubois would be a great trade piece. So I can get a first round pick, a lottery top 5 pick. Now that right there, my friends, would be a great deal. But I know Pierre-Luc Dubois is like, I'm cold. I should have performed better. Yeah. Let's put it this way. I would definitely trade Pierre-Luc Dubois to Montreal if they would be willing to trade for the first round pick. And now we've got the Islanders talking about trading Brock Nelson. Brocky's been playing well, and he's been having a career year. He's in his prime right now. I wouldn't do it. I would not trade Brock Nelson. It would be a downgrade, and it would look like that the Islanders are going to be taking steps back and they'll be rebuilding. I wouldn't do it. I would not trade Brock Nelson for anything. Keep the guy. He's your best player. He's your goal scorer. You need goal scorers. Barzy can't do it by himself. Barzell's a playmaker. Bo Horvat's a two-way center. You need a goal scorer. The Islanders need potential true goal scoring to stay relevant in making the playoffs. I mean, they made it as a 3rd seed in the Metropolitan, but it was a weak division. They need something to stay consistent, contending, and relevant. And, Toronto Maple Leafs, we're talking Mitch Marner again. I like the odds of him going to either to the Mighty Ducks or Utah. Those are the 2 teams I like to see, but that's what I would say. That's the teams I would say. And yeah, like I said before, I say it again. I think trades can be good but bad at the same time. I'm sticking with my guns here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sticking with my guns on this one. Yeah, and then let's see. We got one more topic to talk about before we're done for the weekend. And then we got this one. Nikolai Ehlers being traded. Would this be an interesting move? If I were with Winnipeg, I would look into it, but if it's not a good deal in return, I got to keep him. I would rather let him walk at this point than trade. If the trade is good enough so I can get some stuff in return, like draft picks and some underwhelming players, but I gotta say, I would keep Ehlers for another year. But if it's ridiculous making the playoffs and being a team that had home ice advantage in the first round, I would definitely keep Nikolai Ehlers. And the last one we're going to talk about for the day, the last topic of the day, ladies and gentlemen. The last topic of the day, we're going to tell you guys this. Sheldon Keefe. We're going to hear an announcement in the next week or so that the New Jersey Devils are super close of signing their new head coach, Sheldon Keefe, for the New Jersey Devils, the former Toronto Maple Leaf coach. You heard it here. The New Jersey Devils officially will announce Sheldon Keefe as their next head coach Monday. And this is going to be it. This has been Juicy Hockey with Gordo. I hope you have a great weekend, everybody, and enjoy those games. Oh, we forgot. Potential games this Saturday and a potential game 7 on Sunday. Who knows? But I'm saying this. The Panthers will close out against Boston tonight. It's over. Dallas and Colorado. Colorado, it will go to 7 games. I believe they'll play Sunday. And I believe Dallas will win that series in 7 games. And then tomorrow between Vancouver and Edmonton, I'm going with the Oilers. All right, everyone. This has been Juicy Hockey with Gordo. Have a great weekend, everybody, and God bless America.